The 2018 Spike Lee joint BlacKkKlansman racked up 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Original Music Score for composer, celebrated jazz musician, and Spike Lee's ace in the hole, Terence Blanchard.
I remember when Spike called me up and said he was going to do a movie called BlacKkKlansman. I was like, first of all, say that title again. What was that? BlacKkKlansman? You know, I had to get my head around that first.
Even though Terence and Spike have been collaborating for the past 30 years, BlacKkKlansman is Terence's first Oscar nod. The movie tells the true story of Ron Stallworth, a black undercover cop who infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan in Colorado Springs during the 70s.
I think with Spike, he just doesn't shy away from some of the ugly truth that we have to face in this country.
The film draws parallels between race relations then and now, ending with the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia.
On the streets of Charlottesville today, the hate boiling over.
Hear that chant, blood and soil? It's translated from the German phrase, Blut Und Boden, a slogan Nazis used to suggest that German soil was reserved solely for German blood. But Terence reclaimed it as a title for the theme of BlacKkKlansman, and it won a Grammy for Best Instrumental Composition. That melody appears throughout the movie, but most notably in the climax. And Terence, known for his trumpet playing, chose guitar to carry blood and soil.
The thing about this film, it takes place in the 70s. That's when I was like listening to Paul F. Funkadelics, Mandrill, Jimi Hendrix. The list was endless. But also, man, I love the idea of what Jimi Hendrix did when he played the national anthem.
This performance would become one of the most iconic in rock history. Hendrix was protesting the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War and the way veterans of color were treated back home. You can hear the sounds of war machines, bombs, and airplanes in his guitar.
What a brave thing to do. He's screaming, we're Americans too. What do I have to do to get you to see I'm just as much of an American as you or anybody in your family? He understood that somebody needs to speak out for everybody. Man, that's powerful. I got emotional watching it again. That's the reason why I wanted to use the guitar for BlacKkKlansman. Because to me, that sound, for me, it resonates and it speaks to something else. It speaks to the counterculture of trying to fight back, against that machine that's not telling you the truth.
For Terence, Ron Stallworth is like the Jimi Hendrix of BlacKkKlansman, fighting back against oppression. And we hear some of that Hendrix guitar in Blood and Soil. The guitarist here is Charles Altura. He's important to note because he had the challenge of improvising on this melody over the final scene.
Showed him the scene and I told him, I said, listen, man, you're going to be the emotional conscience of the country. So when you play this, think about that.
Terence needed Charles to tap into what Hendrix did on stage at Woodstock decades ago.
But I said, listen, but I don't want you to sound like Jimmy. I don't want that. I want you to be Charles. He understood where I was coming from with it and what the sentiment was about the primal scream of him saying we're all Americans.
And with that, we've come full circle. Just how Spike Lee connects the past and present, Terence makes the same kind of connections in the score. So if you catch this film soon, put an ear to the ground for Terence Blanchard's genius. That's it for now. I'm your host, Christian McBride. Peace.